Deyemi The Actor is right here in the building. See, I have a career in hype man. Just letting you know that.
If all else fails.
So good to have you.
It's good to be here.
You look great. You look nice.
I'm trying to be like you.
No. I mean, it's like we all planned it. We all white twice together. We're loving it. Welcome to Cool FM. The first question I want to ask anybody that is a big fan of Deyemi, once they go onto your Instagram page or any of your socials, the first thing they notice is how you troll your assistant. Tell us why. Why is that? What did he do? What's his crime? What is the problem?
The stress that guy gives me. If you know the amount of stress he gives me. But it's all fun and games. Anybody that's close to me, will collect.
They'll collect every time.
They'll collect. Go and ask Kunle Remi.
We'll get to that one, obviously. But it does show that off your social media, you come off as a very friendly person. Is that a safe assumption?
It's not a very safe assumption. I'm only friendly when I want to be.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I choose to be friendly on social media.
You choose to be friendly. So on the norms, you're not a friendly person. Is that it?
I'm a quiet person. I'm a quiet person, and I think I grew up taking life too seriously.
Yeah.
But then again, I grew up in Nigeria, so you kind of have
it's
to
understandable.
take life seriously.
Anyway, I get a bit of that though. But I think there was also one time on social media where there was an argument as to how good you look on any attire. Some said it was mostly corporate. Some said you would always kill it in an English wear. Yeah. Which do you think is your best fit when you're on corporate or when you're rocking the agbada and the native?
When I'm naked.
Oh wow, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
When Deyemi is naked, that's when
I look my best. That's when I look my best.
I love the confidence.
The clothes just accentuate that. That's all. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, does that mean that one of the reasons why you go to work out on a regular basis is to look great nude or naked?
So I like being comfortable in my own skin. As an actor, you have to be in full control of your body. That's one of your tools, your body, your voice, and your emotions.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's really important that, your body is a tool that you've really crafted well.
Yeah. Again, on social media, on Twitter, a little birdie whispered to me that you tweeted a couple of days ago that the world is designed to kill men. Or
think about it.
Yeah. You said think about it. So what's that about, though?
Think about it now.
I've thought about it.
In the current text, it's just, was one of those funky, just thinking out, about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, what really happened was that my mother called me, my brother called me. Billions. I was like, am I the only person? And then just to put that in perspective, I started to think about how much pressure is really on men, and up until even going to war, like we are the ones who are thrown into those things. Violence against men is multiple times higher than against any
women.
Other. So so it just got me thinking that really and truly we as men, I mean, everybody goes through stuff, but men have they're very particular and very peculiar ways that men are affected by society at large.
All right. Seeing as we're in the social media space right now, I got to ask this question before we move on to other things. What is your least favorite social media platform? Least favorite?
To be honest with you, I have a love-hate relationship with all social media.
All right. Yep. Doesn't seem like you have any hate relationship on Instagram, though. It seems
it's love-hate. I promise you that most of the stuff that you see is managed.
All right.
Like I want to have as little. By God's grace, there will be a time I have so much money. I don't really.
It's okay. Everybody, stay in your lane. You go Burna Boy.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. You feel as much as there's so much love out there. There's also a lot of people who are hurting and who are failing.
All right.
In life, and then sometimes they feel the need to hit out at somebody else. So it's not even about you, it's about them. And sometimes I just don't want to see that, and it's a lot more than anybody should be dealing with, really.
All right. I had the opportunity to check out one conversation you had with somebody, and you described yourself as an actorpreneur. And, there are people who may not understand where you're coming from when you refer to yourself as DOS. What does that mean, though?
So at the heart of it, I'm an entrepreneur. And basically what it means is that my definition of an entrepreneur is somebody who identifies a strength that they have.
All right.
And they identify a need for that strength in society. They hone that skill, that strength that they have into a skill.
Yeah.
And then go and offer it as value to the world for value in return.
All right.
So I've done this. I mean, I studied engineering. I went from engineering to sales.
Oh, wow.
I went from sales to core marketing before I transited into entertainment as an actor. But what I've also done was, all through the time I've been acting, I've also been consulting for filmmakers. I started consulting for one of the biggest film distribution companies in Nigeria, Silverbird Film Distribution. And then eventually that led to them inviting me to be a part of their team. So I at some point was the head of marketing for Silverbird Film Distribution. And I'm saying all of this really just to help you understand that I'm very entrepreneurial in nature. It just so happens that I'm an actor. And for that, what I try to do is make sure that I'm not just focused on the craft of acting, but I'm very particular about the business of acting as well. And that's what we see a lot of actors seem to, struggle with, the business side of their career. And I find it really, really important. It's how you ensure that even though we don't have a pension plan, you have a career plan that factors in the future.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, with all of the things you just mentioned, I mean, it begs the question though. I mean, there was sufficient planning for all of this. Is it safe to say that growing up, you grew up in a very comfortable household, or you were lacking in some aspects?
Oh, wow. So I grew up in middle-class Nigeria.
All right.
And the downside of growing up in middle class is that you think you have. Yeah. But you really don't. You happen to be in the same schools as the kids whose parents were balling. Yeah. And even some people who weren't as privileged. But then you're just in that space where you think you have. And then one day, growing up, I realized I didn't have anything. I was at a crossroads in my life, and I tell you, it's time to leave the family. So there was a family business that was successful. Oh, okay. And I did join the family business at some point. Yeah. And then I realized I don't have anything of my own. Yeah. And so I left home, packed my bag, quit my job. Oh, okay. At the family business, packed my bag, and I moved out. Oh, wow. I suffered.
Understandably, because it's new territory. Yeah.
It was horrible.
Oh, wow.
Like, I don't know how anyone goes through the amount of... I find myself constantly disrupting my own life in order to try something new and discover something new about myself. That was one of the most painful experiences of my life. Wow. But I survived, and from then on, I had the confidence that, when I put my mind to doing something, I can achieve it. I might struggle, I might go through trying times, like I'm going through right now. But I always come out on top at the end.
All right. You mentioned something about, going to school with a couple of people. I need to ask, is there anyone in the industry right now, maybe in the movie industry, in the music industry, a celebrity that you went to school with? Do you know of anybody? Is there anybody that's famous that you could think back and say, oh, I did go to school with this person? I remember when, I think it was Don Jazzy who mentioned that he went to school with an actor. I can't remember his name. He's still acting now. I just slipped my mind. But is there anybody, or you're the only celebrity from your set that you can think of?
No. I went to some really, really high-profile schools. So, we tend to have very successful people, from... University of Lagos.
Oh, there are lots of them. But in your set, was it
international school as well? So
Kemi
Adetiba.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
We were in school together.
Oh, wow.
At the same time. There's an upcoming actor friend of mine. I'm sure he'll be listening to this. Yeah. And I'll mention his name is Desalu. He's upcoming. He's been upcoming for like 25 years.
Jesus Christ, what is going on?
But we were in secondary school together. He's an actor. He's doing pretty well. Yeah. And there are splatters of people who went to school with me. I went to school with tribesmen back in the day. Yeah. So there are quite a few people who
doing pretty well now that you went to school. Well, yeah. I mean, you have a repertoire of avalanche of a lot of movies you starred in, and they're pretty nice. But which of them would you say, off the top of your head, or you would always brag about as on your CV? If anybody was going to say, come to Hollywood, for example, the movie you just trust, they say, have you seen me in this movie? This is me. What movie comes to mind? What springs to your thought process when you're thinking of that?
Before I answer that question, there was a meeting I had recently with some American agents.
All right.
And there it was, because I packaged my resume. Only the top films. Like, 10 films, you know, because I'm like, I just started acting.
Oh shit!
And there I was, I'd dropped the resume. They were looking through. I was like, oh wow, this is really nice. They were like, so how many films have you done? So somebody asked how many films have you been. I was now counting the number of films on the resume. Apparently, somebody else was Googling and went to my IMDb.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize was that because of Netflix and Showmax and
all of that,
and all those Amazon
platforms,
guys, everybody has been doing this metadata and just putting up all the information for their films online.
Oh, okay.
So almost all my films
were online.
Wow. The guy screamed, he's like, how many films have you done? That's when I realized how many films.
There's a whole lot more, yeah.
It's a whole lot more. But just to say that, look, I've had a really good run. There's so many films that I'm super excited to mention that I've been a part of. But the biggest of all of them, because of the scale, was Blood Sisters, which was a Netflix original produced by Ebony Life Production Studios. Mwabudu.
All right. And again, forgive me, I got to ask this question. It's very important. You're an actor. It comes with territory. I mean, you've also started some steamy scenes, naturally, and there have been some kissing scenes.
Me?
Yes, no. Have you know?
I don't remember.
Okay, let's break it down.
I plead the fifth.
I never ever ask the question. You say you plead the fifth.
Whatever the question. Can we plead? Is there a fifth to plead in Nigeria?
Can we just? Let me just ask you. If you don't want to answer it, fine. I mean, who you've locked lips with a couple of people. I mean, who would you say is the best kisser of the lots?
My wife.
She's an actor, right?
She's the best kisser of them all.
It's a very safe answer. Okay, we'll move away from that one before, we get a call now and says, stop that interview right now. But yeah, you've said in a couple of movies, you're doing so well for yourself. I'm sure there are a couple of people that you watch on television you've maybe never had a chance to work with, or maybe you have worked with before, but then deep down in your heart of hearts, you know that these people, they're not good for television, they're not good for acting, but they are there. Have you had that experience before?
I always say that, there are a lot of people who are acting. There are very few actors.
All right. A lot of people are acting, but there are very few actors. Ooh, that's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the truth. It's the truth. I see that because the barrier to entry into our field is so low, really, that anybody can come in. Yeah. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's the unique thing about this. What it now requires is personal development, and that's personal integrity to just hone that talent that you have into a real skill. It's time consuming, but it's the most rewarding thing that you can do for yourself as an actor. So yes, a lot of people are acting. Not a lot of people are actors.
All right.
Yes.
Quick one before we have to run off and go and do some other stuff that you'll be a part of. One last question. For recent, we've seen a number of veteran actors, unfortunately have been plagued with ailments, and they've had to come out to beg for assistance. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that, of the number of years they put in the industry, they still need to come out and ask for assistance to deal with a particular ailment?
First of all, it's really one of the most disturbing, most unfortunate things that I've had to deal with within this profession. Seeing people who you grew up watching, people who you respect, people who you respect, people who you love, really, suffering. It's really, really difficult. The first things first. It's a terrible situation to be in. There's also a lot, because I said there's a myriad of issues from actors generally being paid off for their craft at once, and then that same content that has been produced is monetized over and over and over and over again. And so from both angles, there's the fact that I believe that actors need more financial literacy training, and an understanding of savings and investments, and how best to manage their resources. And on the other hand, there also needs to be structure in the system that allows people to be rewarded over time for their content. So residual payments, over time, or even a variation of it, such that actors have some level of equity, within the films that they're in.
They're starring.
So that those two things at the foundation should help. I mean, right now, my suggestion is always, if there are issues, we come together, we deal with the issue in particular, but at the same time, let's start cultivating these habits.
All right.
So we minimize
These
such
issues.
occurrences in the future, yes.
All right, last question before we say goodbyes. Obviously, you mentioned it before, and I was going to say it as well. Kunle Remi is always yanking your chain, and you also do the same as well. Would you say it's safe to say that he's probably one of your closest friends in the industry, though, since you guys are always having a back and forth, arguing on social media, fighting on social media, and all of that?
No, he's more of a mentee.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I really, I'm really passionate about teaching him, how to act, I really like helping the less privileged in society.
I am sure. I can swear there's a comeback.
Yes,
for this one.
like I'm checking my Instagram right now.
Yeah. You know it's about to happen.